humility, right? Because it's the ability to keep our ego in check. Because without it, what happens? My ego takes over. I think my way is the highway. It's either my way or the highway, Dodi. You do exactly what I say. Nobody likes that guy. Nobody wants to be friends with that guy. Nobody wants to work with that guy. Nobody wants to train with that guy. So keeping the ego under control. Now, I'm not saying to eliminate it because that's not healthy either. You gotta have a balance. You gotta have a balance of being confident and having that sense of pride in what you do. That's important, and that's part of ego. But you gotta just keep the ego in line with everything else. So let's just say a video game. This is very simple, Dodi.
Yeah.
So in a video game, let's just say you have a level 7 quality and strength, level 5 in mental capacity, level 4 in this, level 9 in relationship ability, whatever it is, right? And then let's just say we have a skill for ego control, whatever. Ego control is like, let's just say ego is at 9. If the ego is at 9 and everything else is a 5 or a 6, that's when it's a problem, right? Because it's like, I have so much pride in what I do and blah, 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 but then your actual abilities are less than that. That's what that means by just keeping it in check. You're not eliminating it, but you're just keeping it in line with everything else, right? Don't be, no need to be meek, and no need to be like, well, I actually don't know anything. I don't know any. You don't have to be that crazy for balance, because sometimes that's not helpful as well, because sometimes that's considered lying, right? If someone's like, I don't know anything, I don't know anything, I'm just learning, you can take the humility thing too far. It's just keeping it in check with everything else. You don't want your ego to be 0 or 1 when everything else is a 7 or 8, right? Because you gotta have pride in what you do, right? You don't have to, but it's good to feel proud of what you're creating, proud of the relationships you're developing, proud of the family, right? Proud of your heritage, whatever it is. That's great, but just make sure it doesn't go above your actual skills in other areas. So that's what I mean when I say keep your ego in check. And everybody here at the gym probably knows I say that all the time. And so with that said, don't let the ego explode into unchecked emotion. Listen to other people. If someone says, Justin, I don't agree with what you just said, that is just da 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 da, I'm not going to fight back with my ego and say, hey, you know what? No, I'm right because of X, Y, and Z. That's like fighting fire with fire. What do you do in jiu-jitsu, Dodi? You fight fire with what?
I'd say you just put out the fire, like...
With water.
Water, yeah.
Boom. Exactly. You put out the fire. You fight fire with fire. What happens? If you tell me something, right? Let's just say the podcast. You're like, hey, Josh, I want to set up the podcast like this, this, and this. And then I shoot back and say, no, Dodi, that's just ridiculous. I think we should do it exactly like this. Well, how are you going to respond? And so, but imagine that, Dodi. What sounds better to you? Like, if I tell you, like, my ego gets out of hand and it's like, where you place this camera and the lights, it just, my gosh, like, why did you put it over there? You should have put it on this side. If I did that versus like, hey, Dodi, pretty good setup, and what do you think if we just move the camera just a little bit this way?
I'd like to see it way better.
Of course, right? Yeah. And you're going to respect that person way more. Versus like, hey, this is just a dumb layout. What were you even thinking? That's just, you're not going to want to stay with that person long term. As a trainer, as a coach, as a friend, as a brother, as anything, as a family, whatever. They're not going to want to hang around that person. That's like, you're an idiot. And that's my ego talking.
Yeah.
Right? If I say, whoa, this is just dumb. That is ridiculous. If I do that, that's my ego. What's the opposite? Oh, okay, it's not about me. Okay, got it. It's not about me. I wonder why. So, Dodi, I'm curious. Why did you guys do it this way? Versus, Dodi, this is dumb. Why did you do it that way? I don't even know why you did it that way. This doesn't even make any sense, right? Dodi, I'm curious. Why did you guys do it this way? I want to know. And then at least that way, it's like, oh yeah, sure, let me show you why.
Yeah.
And then if it's effective, it's effective. If it's not effective, sometimes when people are explaining it, they're like, oh, actually, yeah, this might not work, huh? Right? Versus me like, this is not going to work. Did you even think about this? Oh, yeah, that's my ego just screaming, look at me, listen to me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God, nobody likes that guy. And I only know that because I had some great, fantastic bosses, right? But then I had a couple who were just like egomaniacs that I didn't know how to deal with because I was too young. I was 18, 19, 20, so it is what it is. But the ego thing is huge, right, Dodie?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody would stay here if if one of the trainers' ego or my ego was like out of hand and was just like, making snark remarks because I feel like I'm better than somebody. Well, that's a dumb shirt, like that's something crazy like that. Like, my gosh, like it's crazy. So, okay, I'm just beating the dead horse about ego and keeping it in check and humility. Moving on. So.